whether you're an introvert or an extrovert, you might be making these mistakes that are killing your conversation skills without even noticing. All right, so I want to get into it. One of the mistakes is giving unsolicited advice. A lot of people don't really want to hear your advice. They might be venting, they might be just talking about something, and then you jump in and you say what you think and you tell them what to do, and it's not at all what they want. So in a lot of cases, maybe most cases, you're just supposed to listen more than you're supposed to give advice. Although when it comes to a one-on-one conversation with a friend, there is something to be said about giving advice in a certain way, but that's, it's a bit more complicated, and we can get into that in another video. The other mistake is always one-upping someone's story, always trying to be like, oh, well, you think that's crazy? Look at what happened to me, And just in general, making it all about you and always bringing back the conversation to you. You might not notice you're doing it, but a lot of people still just naturally do it, and they might go like, oh yeah, this reminds me of that thing. And yes, there's a way to relate to the person, right? Of course, you should share things about yourself. There's a way to do it. There are moments when you should be doing it, but if you're constantly doing it and always trying to bring things back to yourself, there's a problem. But of course, it's about balance, right? Another mistake is interrupting all the time. Now again, interruption is normal to a certain extent, okay? Sometimes you're gonna have to interrupt, it's okay. But if you do it all the time, try to be mindful of it, okay? Because it's very tempting to always jump in, because of course the person is talking and they're giving you sometimes so much to work with, and you wanna jump on this and that and that. And so there's this temptation to do it immediately, but really you should take it in, listen, and if you forget what you wanted to say, it's okay. You shouldn't hold on to your thoughts about what you want to say next, because that doesn't really matter. In fact, this is another mistake that people make. It's waiting for your turn to speak, okay? When you're just waiting for the person to be done talking because you're planning what you're gonna say. This is a very relatable feeling that a lot of people have had, that a lot of people have regularly. It's so tempting because you think that what you have to say is important, because you have this feeling that, well, if I don't say it or if I forget it, then I'm gonna lose this opportunity to say something interesting or to participate in this conversation. But if you accept the fact that you're gonna forget it, you'll come up with something else, it'll make the flow of conversation a lot more smooth and a lot better just for everyone. It can get really annoying when people do this all the time and they try to interrupt, like the person is finishing their story and the person goes like, totally. It's just, you can sense that they're just faking it. They're pretending to listen. It's actually one of the most annoying things I've found in people who suck at conversation. Now, the other thing is humble bragging. I would say in general, don't try to impress people, okay? Sometimes it calls for it, and sometimes, sure, a little bit, but generally, like, people can see that you're just insecure and you're trying to sound interesting by talking about all the stuff that's cool about you, or maybe this one thing about you that's really impressive. But it's way better to really own it when you show off. Maybe acknowledge it, like just say like, let me show off, I'm showing off, just own it, Because if you're doing what's called humble bragging, people know that you're faking it, like you try to come across as this modest person, but you're actually bragging. People know it, they can sense it, and I'll post a link to the study if I find it. There was actually a study that showed that humble bragging makes you unlikable. So there's just really no way to, no reason to do it. And then the last thing I want to bring up is switching topics too fast, And I suppose this is related to making things about you, but it's not necessarily about making it about you, but maybe someone is sharing something that matters to them, maybe something personal, maybe not, maybe they're talking about their hobby, whatever, and they're sharing, and then you're just not really showing any interest, and you're like, oh, I guess we're done talking about that now. So anyway, and then you bring up this other topic, but actually maybe the person wasn't done talking. Maybe there was a lot of untapped potential in this conversation that was happening, in this conversation topic. And you may not realize that, well, it's not time to switch the topic yet. Maybe this person wanted to talk about this more, okay? So there's a few things like that to be mindful. Again, something I talk about a lot is that, I don't want you to worry too much about conversation tactics and stuff while you're socializing, because then it's counterproductive. Then you're in your head too much, and the whole point is to not be in your head, okay? So maybe think about these things like right now while you're watching this video, while you're reading my newsletter. There's a link for that below. But sure, try to be mindful about it to a certain extent while you're socializing, but if you get into your head too much, that's not a good sign, okay? Now, if you want help taking action in terms of creating deep friendships and also in terms of learning how to approach strangers, there's a free thing you can download. I put a link for it in the description. It's called the Friendship Builder, and it's going to help you hold yourself accountable in terms of your friendship goals and your social goals, because it's a really good thing to learn about this stuff by watching videos and reading stuff, but you need something to push you towards action. So that's the whole idea behind it. I hope you check it out.